friends who enjoy taking selfies while blowing guys and sending them to each other. Seriously, hath I struck it rich in the vagina mines? I told her I'd love to model for one or several hundred of her pictures. That hung in the air for a very long 2 seconds before she came back with, "Okay, let's get out of here." Obviously, I couldn't. Usually in this situation, I'd have time to let my boner subside as I got the bartender's attention and got the tab. But since we paid as we went, this was just a fucking get up and hope no one notices, and if they did, so what, I'd never see them again situation. I thanked Five-Fingered Freddy and walked out, fully erect. Damn LA in the non-coat weather. We got into my car, and she immediately undid my belt, unbuttoned my pants, and went for it. This is probably a good time to mention I'd parked as close to the restaurant as possible, in full view of patrons entering and exiting. After the flash of her phone camera went off a few times, I decided it was high time I got the car into reverse and get to a dark corner of the lot. She was taking off her clothes, and it was glorious. I didn't have tinted windows, but the fog currently clouding them served the same purpose. She worked out daily. Her body was the Victoria's Secret model ideal, sculpted by intense exercise and surgical enhancement. Her skills were expert, and the enjoyment she experienced showing them off was obvious. And, while in the throes of complete ecstasy with the gorgeous girl I'd pined weeks for, in what should have been a peak life moment, as per usual, my stupid brain brought stupid thoughts to the forefront of my mind's eye. I had 2 problems. 1, to get paid, I needed to fill out my paperwork with my findings and send pictures of it into the secret shopper company immediately after leaving the establishment. And 2, if we stayed in that busy lot that was connected to a high-end retail strip mall, we were going to get arrested. Thoughts of not getting reimbursed and her dad bailing her out and leaving me in the joint flooded my head while I was getting head, and they really were working in opposition to me climaxing so I could finish my reports. What the fuck, Greg? Why couldn't I ever just sit back and enjoy myself? If I were a Viking, my male ancestors would be locking the doors to Valhalla. I had to do something for the anxiety, and it was gonna make shit awkward. I decided a police encounter took priority. "Hey," I said, "this is fucking spectacular and honestly the greatest turn taken in any night of my life, but I need you to get dressed." She took her mouth off me and said, "Why?" God, what a great girl. "Because," I said, "if a cop happens to drive by, I at least want half a chance to talk our way out of it." I prayed it didn't turn her off. "That's actually a good idea," she said. She got her clothes back on and got back documenting our good time with her phone camera, and I could finally relax. Before much longer, I'll just say I was more than thrilled we had finally come to an agreement. I reclined her chair and returned the favor, just in case any of you were wondering. I'm not a selfish asshole. Anyway, after spending some time in the afterglow, and I'd sobered up from my 3 drinks, I set the course for getting her home at the decent hour I'd promised. Had to keep at least one promise I'd made that night. I walked her to the door, and we kissed goodnight. This was going to be a thing, and I couldn't have been happier. And I'm kind of leaning towards some more Alexa episodes, but I'm not promising anything. Anyway, as I turned to walk away, she called out. "Wait," she said. "What are you going to do?" Go home and replay that mental car video we made 1 to 300 times? "No, jackass. The bartender." I think the universe will deal with him. All that is bad juju for me. I'm not touching it. And with that, I got in my car and headed back to the valley. Worst secret shopper ever. Well, it's last call, so let me give you a tip. Don't just fucking Yelp someone because you had a less than good experience. You could get them fired. If he called you a Karen or directly offended you, fine, I get it. But we're all human, and we all have life that we're supposed to be able to check in the locker room. But relationships end. Loved ones get sick. Pets die. Cut a person some slack. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And while I'm at it, will some sleazy lawyer please get a restaurant class action suit going to take down that fucking site that's built on libel and slander? Fuck! If we could Yelp guests, how would they feel? It's completely unfair and one-sided. Anyways, folks, it's been a blast. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And a call to my fellow booze slingers. Send in your stories to cockedtalesandwastednights@gmail.com. You can remain anonymous if you'd like. Thanks for listening, subscribing, downloading, and spreading the word. Don't be afraid to give me a good review, even if you're lying. And check out my video, Just Close It, on YouTube. You will laugh, damn it. And if you want to support the podcast, check it out on Patreon. I don't have any extra shit there, but I'll happily accept donations. Worth a try. We'll see you next time on Behind Bars, Cocktails, and Wasted Nights. Cheers! Then add some ice and beat the shit out of that drink. Since an ecstasy trip to Disneyland fuck my life. She eventually slows down after the onslaught of guest arrivals. Did I say slut? Look, it was either cheesecake or I was just gonna get over... Fuck. And said I'd alert her with a whistle if one approached. Did I just whistle my fucking CH? I deflected that deflection by casually mentioning that baseball players were notorious for having Fuck. I showed up, met the dad, and that somehow went well. Most likely because... And coworkers are not only more and often... Fuck. While in the throes of complete ecstasy with the gorgeous girl I'd pined for weeks for. Fuck my God. Go home and replay the mental car video we made. 1 to 300 fucking my life. Christ almighty, I swear to God.